Hello there. And yes, we're back again. Us happy lot. Yeah. And there's just four of us again. Yeah, I know. And we're here to talk about the very first episode of 24. Yes. And I'm going to open it up by opening thoughts. What are your opening thoughts on this episode? Lee, do you want to go first or?
Yeah, I'll go first. I have never, ever seen an episode of 24 until today when I watched this one. I can understand why people like the series so much, because you sit there and watch it and you think, what's going on here? And then you want to know more by the end of that 42 minutes. It's my opening thoughts is I like the way they make it. It's they said it's done in real time, don't they?
Yeah. Which
is and on the screen you see like 4 different segments of what's happening at the same time. I quite like that, and for me, Kiefer Sutherland can't really do much wrong. I do like him as an actor. He's a very good actor. So yeah, it was quite a surprise, and I may dip into the series when I get a chance when I've watched other series.
You got a lot. You got
I know. After watching
a lot of other things, that pile's getting higher and higher. You keep.
Yeah. I mean, people do know that I'm not very good with TV series or whatever, or audio dramas what involve political plot lines, but this is not sort of a conspiracy thing going behind the scenes, which I thought was a bit more different than upfront political stuff.
What about Connor? What's your opening thoughts going into this?
I like the real-time aspect of it. Like 1 minute in TV terms is 1 minute within the show. But the issue here is that seeing the end of the episode, it doesn't feel like an episode because it's not a complete story. It's you have to watch the whole series to get a whole story. It just feels like one small segment, so it's hard to review as a whole. The ending was very good. I understand that this episode aired a couple of months after or before 9/11, so they had to cut the ending out because of the distress it could cause. I think it was after, because I think they would have filmed it before and then it would have aired after. But that's one bit of trivia that I came across. As unlike Lee, I can handle political sort of stuff because
we know.
Yeah, because, and it's interesting actually because this is a very timely review because I don't know when this will go up, but
probably in a year's time.
Yeah, the story focuses around the first black presidential candidate. And of course, this week we've just seen out the first black president. So it's good timing with the review. But the story overall is good. I do like the political aspect of it the most. It's like 5, I think it's 5 storylines because you've got the daughter, you've got the mother almost is her own sort of storyline. And you've got Kiefer as Jack Bauer, doing his own thing as well. So I don't like, sometimes like when shows do 5 different storylines at once, it gets confused and you end up with just a mess. This sort of, because it is real time, sort of spaces it out more. But as I said, it's just one segment of a big story, so it's hard to review. But yeah, the real-time aspect is interesting. I haven't seen an episode of 24 either. It used to be on, was it Sky 1 in the UK?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
For so many years. It's been going on for like at least 14 or 15 years, felt like. But it's a very popular TV show. And I do understand why people like it as well. It's very it's like it's a bit like James Bond in that it's just a secret agent sort of guy, but he's anti-terrorist. He's an anti-terrorist agent. Interesting in look into how it works. I don't know the accuracy to how the government works in the US, but it felt like it gave an insight into the real life goings on of the anti-terrorist department. Interesting character. Kiefer Sutherland is an actor that I haven't come across often, but he was in The Lost Boys, and also he's in a TV series that I've just started watching called Designated Survivor, and he's very good in that, and he's very good in this. It's strange seeing him so young, because he does look really young in this compared to how I've just seen him in Designated Survivor. But yeah, good characters, good story, but it's hard because it's, as I said, it's just one segment of a big story.
Yep, and now that's a long opening thoughts. Let's go into Susan for some opening thoughts.
I reserve judgment. I don't know how to rate it or to start, because it was just the beginning. And the only other episode of 24 that I've seen is the one with Robert Carlyle in it. And Robert Carlyle plays a guy who ends up saving all these children by sacrificing himself. I mean, and that's a really sweet story, really heartrending story. This isn't as heartrending. It's very political. It's very, propositional. I mean, I didn't get sucked into the life of Jack, what's his name? Jack Bauer?
Jack Bauer, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get sucked into his life and his sort of reality. And so I don't know. It was just different. It's too hard to tell what I really feel about this as a show. I don't really know.
Well, what about favorite moments? What was your favorite moments in this?
I think the rescue of his daughter was cool.
Yeah.
I think the end where the plane blows up sort of has to be, because that's really the only action bit in the entire thing. There is the scene where Jack is suspicious of the guy bringing him the information, and he's asking for the source, and he won't give the source because he has no authorization. But you can see that in the cogs are turning in Jack's head, and that he's working out that this is not a situation as it appears. This guy is probably corrupt. He's working for a higher force, and he's got to find a way to take him out. And he does. He doesn't kill him. He tranquilizes him. But, it's interesting to see how Jack works as a person in that particular scene. It gives a good character depth, I think. But yeah, because it's like the opening episode, there wasn't much action, so there wasn't much to get your teeth into. And it was only 40 minutes or something, the version I watched. So again, the cat's attacking Lee. So yeah, because of the lack of action, there wasn't many standout moments. But yeah, I think the ending and that bit with Jack and the informant, I'll call him, was the best bits.
I think the cat wants your attention, Lee.
Well, you'll have to wait. One of my favourite bits in it is in the airplane. In the airplane with the
Stop the cat.
with
the
the woman.
Condone animal cruelty.
No, with the woman passenger, and I was saying, what's going on here? She's just had sex with a guy in the toilet. Now she's getting dressed up in all this gear around her, but she's just drugged the woman in the back of the plane, and all of a sudden doors fly off, plane blows up. I mean that was a good part of the episode. As Connor says, where he tranquilizes the man in the black suit, Brilliant, as you said. You could see him thinking, and he has to go get a gun and gets the gun and tranquilize him. But yeah, okay, it's the first episode of the season. It's the build-up of the story, what goes along, and it is a good build-up. It sets you up of all these different segments of this Jack Bauer's life, his work side, his private side, his daughter, all like that. And even in the first episode, you find out that he was sleeping with his partner, who he works with. You don't have 10 episodes along till you find that out. You found that in the first episode. It's a pretty good, solid 42 minutes of a episode, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good first episode as well, and I like Jack Bauer as well. I like the character. What does everybody think about the characters? Who's your favourite character?
I'd say he was. There was an awful lot of depth, as Lee said. You find out he slept with his co-worker and stuff, so you find out a lot about him, just enough to develop him above everyone else. The wife is interesting because I haven't seen 42. I don't know where to go with his family situation with his daughter or anything. I might watch more to find out, but I think Jack is the only character you can really understand the most because he's the only one that's really fleshed out enough in this 40 minutes.
I think his daughter is I'm all about that storyline. The rest of it was just kind of political.
I mean, I agree. Jack Bauer, yeah, brilliant character. But also, in this first episode, something going on with the presidential candidate after that phone call, which you think it's a bit intriguing, and he goes and stands out on the balcony. You're thinking, yeah, he could be. I mean, I don't know what happens to this character because I haven't seen any more. I mean, that might be a good character to keep an eye on because there's something going on in the background there after that phone call. Yeah, and his as you say, his work partner as well. She seems an intriguing character. I'd like to see a bit more of her. So, as Connor, I might delve into this TV series when I get a chance.
When you finished Once Upon a Time, once you finished catching up on that, all the episodes of that, all the 900.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time, Supernatural, Grimm, Sons of Anarchy. I've got loads to catch up on.
You're filled for life, aren't you, really? You're sorted for life on the TV shows. So we might as well go into our final says and scores then, shall we? Let's go to Susan for her final say and score.
Thank you. I will. I'll reserve judgment on the whole thing. I'll give it a 6 out of 10 because I just don't know what to think much about it, except for that one episode that was sublime. But that's really the only bits that I've seen, and the plane blowing up was intense. But I've seen it before. So
are you tempted to watch more, or you don't think you're going to watch anymore?
Slightly tempted.
Let's go to Connor. See what his final say and score is.
As a snapshot of an entire story, what I imagine is going to play out as an entire story, it's an 8 out of 10. It's a good start. Not much to go on because it is just a small segment, as I said. But Jack is a great character. Kiefer Sutherland is a good actor. It's good enough. It's a good 42 minutes of TV, I think. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
And Lee, let's go to Hull with Lee.
It's, as I said, it's a solid episode of, from beginning to end. There's a lot what they put into that episode, and it leaves me at the end of it when the credits start to roll wanting more, wanting to find out what is going on. So for that, as I've never seen any of it before. I'm going to give it an 8.
An 8, oh, that's good. For me, it's. I've seen episodes of this before. I have seen episodes before because my partner watches it, and I've watched him watching some before. You know, I've just been sat in the background. So I have watched episodes of this before, full episodes. So I do know a bit more than some of you do in here. And I'm not going to give any spoilers away. But I think, I think it's a good opening episode. Yeah, and I like Jack, and I like some of the action and all that. Like you say, the helicopter and things like that, and the ending. I think I'm going to give it an 8. I'll give it an 8. I mean, I haven't watched every episode of 24, but I'm tempted to go and watch the next episode. I might do. So that's it. I'd like to thank everyone here for joining me. I'd like to thank you for watching as ever. Tell us what you think about this episode of 24 below. And we'll see you next time. Look after yourself. And hit that subscribe button also.